A lot of people have been doing top 10 videos, and Value Vinyl did one about a week ago that actually caught my attention, so I thought I'd do a very similar one of the least valuable albums in your collection according to Discogs. So I've pulled the 10 least valuable albums that I could find on Discogs out of my collection, and I'm going to show you what they are right now. Now, I only have about 1,500 albums listed in Discogs, and maybe 300 of those have no value listed at all. That just means they haven't traded by anybody. I know that that means next to nothing, because one of my entries there actually cost me quite a bit when I got it shipped from Japan, and I'm the only one that has that album here. So it's listed as having no value and never being traded. Anyway, I also have a couple of bins full here, I'll show you, of albums sitting in milk crates. A couple of these milk crates here. Anyway, I was saying I have a couple of milk crates full of albums here, maybe, 125 albums that aren't listed on Discogs at all, and they probably never will be. And I was saying I used to enter my records into Discogs, and recently stopped doing it because the influx of new people have become a bit annoying with their comments, or rather their criticism of some of your entries. So I've at least temporarily stopped adding new entries to Discogs. I'll probably pick it up again when all this COVID craziness is finally over with and people tend to quiet down a bit. Anyway, let's get on with my least valuable collection. First off the list is Smother Brothers. This is called Tour de Farce in American History and Other Unrelated Subjects. It's listed at 42 cents Canadian. It's a U.S. pressing, a comedy album from 1964. Next in, and this one may actually be worth what Discogs claims it is by Malcolm McLaren. It's just called Fans. It's listed as being worth 41 cents. It's a Canadian pressing, 1984 electronic classical. The one is a bit on the odd side. One that really surprised me is one of my albums I really like, actually. It's a Jefferson Starship, Red Octopus. This one's listed as being worth only 35 cents. It's a Canadian pressing again, the 1975 classic rock album. I think the issue here is it's their Canadian pressings. The US versions seem to be worth a lot more, UK pressings. That's what I get for being in Canada. Another one here is Russ Case, West Side Story. Now I've got several versions of several versions of West Side Story. I've been trying to hunt down the Bernstein original version. I've come close. I've got a couple of Bernstein versions by him. Well, anyway, this one is listed as being worth a whopping 34 cents. It is a UK pressing, 1965, and it's a soundstage musical album. Moving along, okay, the next one is a pressing of Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 2, also known as The Little Russian. It's listed as being worth 28 cents. It's a US-Canada pressing, obviously classical from 1980. It's kind of odd because it's not a bad sounding pressing. But I guess, again, it's probably because it's Canadian and other countries are worth a touch more. And we'll get to someone that actually surprised me. Here's one that's Connie Francis. It's just titled Connie. This one is being worth a whopping 16 cents. I hope that glare isn't too bad. There's a Canadian pressing from 1975, listed as a pop vocal album. And she's followed by Patti Page, still in the shrink, by the way. This is just called the Patti Page Collection, also listed as being worth a whopping 16 cents. Another Canadian pressing from 1976, a folk country album. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce this band's name. I think it's called Ananta, A-N-A-N-T-A. It's called Night and Daydreams. It's according to Discogs, it's listed as being worth 15 cents. It's a Canadian pressing. A 1978 prog rock album, and it actually doesn't sound bad. And we're getting almost near the end. Here's number 2 on the list. Da-da-da-da! Chuck Mangione. It feels so good. According to Discogs, this album's worth a whopping 14 cents. Canadian pressing again. And it's a 77 smooth jazz album. And the lowest value album I've got in my collection that actually has a value listed for being sold as is... This is called Ben Elton. Album's called Motormouth. And according to Discogs, this album has successfully traded for 2 cents Canadian. It has a UK pressing and 1987 comedy album. Quite interesting. Anyway, like Steve at Value Vinyl suggested, other people might want to chime in their least valuable albums and get that thread underway. That's about it for this one. So long, bye-bye, and see you around on that tube thing.